Welcome back to GOT. Today we're going to talk about the Pixel 9 Pro Fold and the OnePlus Open. Are they the same? Sure does appear to be. Let's look into it. So these two phones, just simply by first appearance and impression, they look very similar. So I want to start off by looking at this chart that I created here. I show the dimensions, the different sizes of the phones, and we can start with unfolded. The Pixel Fold is actually 6.11 inches, where the OnePlus Open is 6.04 inches. So in other words, the Pixel Fold's a little bit taller. And that's really hard to picture, but as you can see here in this 3D image I've created, you can see that it's just a slightly bit taller. And so the Pixel Fold is actually taller and wider. And you can see that here in this 3D than the OnePlus Open. Now, as we all know, the OnePlus Open is actually a very light phone. And if you've seen any of the previous videos, you see where the Z Fold is actually a smaller device than the OnePlus Open, but they weigh the same. Now, talking about thickness, well, the OnePlus Open is actually thicker than what the Pixel Fold is going to be. The Pixel Fold is going to be 0.21 inches, where the OnePlus Open is 0.23 inches thick. It's barely going to be enough to see by the naked eye, just like it was barely enough to see the difference between the OnePlus and the Z Fold. But I do wonder how Pixel is going to handle the weight difference, because the original Pixel Fold was very heavy compared to its competitors. Now, when both phones are folded, again, what's interesting on paper now, the Pixel Fold will be wider than the OnePlus Open and a little bit taller. So you would think it'd have more front screen real estate. But if you look at this numbers here on the chart, the external screen on the Pixel Fold is 6.29 inches, where the external screen on the OnePlus Open is a slight bit wider at 6.31. Now, if you're wondering like I did, why would its front screen be smaller, especially when its internal screen is actually going to be larger? If you look back at this chart, you can see that the Pixel Fold is going to be an 8-inch internal screen, where the OnePlus Open is actually a 7.8-inch screen. So you are getting a larger screen on the inside with the Pixel Fold, but on the outside it has a smaller screen. So let's take a look at why that is. Well, taking a closer look at these images, you can see that the Pixel Fold has a little bit more bezel on it than what the OnePlus Open does. And that could be the reason why its screen is not as large as the OnePlus Open. However, this fraction of a size, I don't think it's going to be much noticeable when you have the phones in hand. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing that in person. Now, where they're really going to differ is in the operating system, where you've got the pure Android in the Pixel phone, and on the OnePlus Open, you do have the Oxygen OS, which is a skin over the Android. So it gives you some extra features, kind of like what Samsung does with their phone, putting the One UI, giving more features by the manufacturer. Now let's look at the obvious difference we see in the images, which is the camera and the camera modules. Now this is where they really set apart from one another. So believe it or not, they both have the same main shooter. It's a 48 megapixel f-stop of 1.7, which is the measurement of how much light the camera allows in. The more light, the more detail. So both of them are very similar there. The difference is going to be the processing. And we know the Pixel has been known for their great processing. So I'm looking forward to that camera shootout. Now, next is the zoom. On the OnePlus Open, you have a 64 megapixel 3x zoom, and it does allow a little bit more light in. You can see with a 2.6 f-stop. And so you can get a little bit more detail, but it's only a 3x zoom versus the Pixel Fold, which has a 5x zoom, but that 5x zoom is a 3.1 f-stop, and it's only a 10.8 megapixel camera, which, as we know, 10 megapixels versus 50 megapixels is a lot of detail. But the Pixel, of course, being top in their game on processing, plus adding AI to the photo processing, who knows what's going to happen here. However, I really tend to lean to the higher megapixel count, but we're going to have to see what Pixel actually presents and how they both compare at 3x and 5x zoom. And then we have the ultra-wide camera. The ultra-wide on the OnePlus Open is a 48 megapixel, 2.2 f-stop, so it's going to allow quite a bit of light in, and it's quite the great shooter from my experience. Takes really nice wide, clean, ultra-wide shots. Now on the Pixel Fold, on the other hand, it's going to have a 12 megapixel shooter. We don't really know what the f-stop is because they haven't really released that yet. Nobody's leaked it yet, but my guess it's going to be on a higher end. So I don't know how well that one is going to perform, 12 versus a 48 megapixel on the ultra wide. So I am really looking forward to a camera shootout between the Pixel 9 Pro Fold and the OnePlus Open. Now, of course, lastly, as we know, Pixel, they're going to be all about AI on their next phones. So that's going to be a heavy push. You can see in their advertising, they say, hey, let the phone do a Dear John letter to your old phones, because they believe that their AI is going to be superior to all of them. So we'll have to see, and we'll have to see if there's going to be a paywall in there to use it. Because right now, if you want to use Gemini fully, there's a paywall on any other device. You got to subscribe to it, like $20 a month, to add that Gemini AI to your text messages, your emails, and your different worksheets. So hopefully owning a Pixel negates that extra cost. We're going to have to find out. Coming this August 13th, when they do the release announcements, hopefully we'll know everything we need to know to determine whether we want to buy the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. So stick with the channel to find out more, because when they announce the Pixel Fold and the Pixel phones, I'm of course going to do a video on that. Let me know what you think of the upcoming Pixel 9 Pro Fold, or even the Pixel phones. Are you excited about it? Are you ready for a change? And are you planning to upgrade? Tell me what you think down in the comments. And of course, if you have any questions on any of the phones, also leave those questions down below and I'll do my best to answer them. And of course, while you're down there, don't forget to smash that like button. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out further content. If you've never watched an event on these phones, you've got to try it. Thanks for hanging out with me. Until next time, God bless.